All right, so this is the second video of the StoianCapital mentorship. And today we are going to talk about something which might be the most important lesson in terms of the mentorship, in terms of everything that leads towards your trading independence. This is a lesson that is foundational not only to your trading development, but this forms you as a trader in itself. This is going to attack something that is the major problem into your life, and this detriments you in so many areas of your life that this will not only change the way you trade and the way you see trading, this will change the way you see life. Because one of the major things that you have to understand is that trading is just a subject in which your actions are displayed. So trading is a reflection of you as a human being. And if you have no awareness towards how you operate inside of your life, then you will have no awareness in which how you operate inside of your trading. So this is the process-oriented thinking, which is conquering the major problem in your development. So your first question, which I have just answered to, might be, but what does this have to do with trading? So let's just analyze this. Let's just understand where this question comes from. But let's describe what this means or what it means. But first, its opponent, which is your current state right now. The reactive oriented thinking, which is your current state. So in your current state, let me just define what ROT means, or basically reactive oriented thinking. Definition. The ROT, which stands for reactive oriented thinking, is a state of being where an individual acts based on an emotional response. And what the major problem about this is that you do not even know that you're acting based on an emotional response. You're not even aware of the fact that you are emotional. And let me just give you an example. Market trades up real quick, and trader Dan, used in the previous example, and if you did not study the previous mentorship video, I suggest you stop this video right now and get back to the first video, because that is foundational towards this video, and this is how you study the mentorship. Otherwise, you will fail. Gets a FOMO, which stands for fear of missing out, response, and that makes him get into a trade. So was Trader Dan actually doing something that was based on a solid logic plan, or was he just reactive towards what the market has done? Trader Dan took a trade based on the want, which is exactly what I wrote down here. What Trader Dan did was get in based on the want, but in reality, the market manipulated him and he will eventually regret it. So he saw the market going up, and that was the catalyst. That was the reason why he wanted to go and take a trade to the upside, only because he saw the market going up. The reactive oriented thinking. But the major problem with ROT is that emotions fluctuate. And if they are used as a catalyst for entry or exit, they do not provide a consistent response, let alone the best response towards the situation. So your emotions, based on seeing something, if you act based on your emotions, then right now you would want to see the market go to the upside, and then after the market drops, even if that's only a retracement, what you're going to do is your emotions are going to be changed. So based on the emotion, you believe that the market was going to go to the upside, and then the market did a normal retracement, but you believe right now that the market is going to just reverse and drop 40 points just because of an emotion. So that is not the best response. That is not a consistent response, let alone the best response towards a situation. Therefore, How do I always choose the best response? And I want you to actually think about this question before I go into the next slide. How do I always, all of the time, choose the best response towards a situation? Not only in trading, but in life. Embrace a process-oriented mindset, which, of course, is the same as process-oriented thinking. The process-oriented mindset. A definition. The process-oriented mindset is a state of being where an individual behaves upon a clearly defined plan, which was created in a neutral state of mind prior to the event happening. In other words, being prepared. So the process-oriented mindset is not only you doing something, but you actually taking the time to plan prior to the event happening. So there's, for instance, I'm going to look at the market way before it even opens. I'm going to do my analysis. I am going to do my analysis not based on the fact that the market has gone up for the past few days. That is going to be a factor to factor into my analysis in itself. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to determine whether this chart is going to go to the upside or to the downside, what I want to see from the market way before it even opens, so that when the session comes and when I see the market going down, I'm not going to do anything reactive towards that movement. So in other words, being prepared. The process-oriented thinking or mindset, because I wrote down process-oriented thinking because it is POT versus ROT, which is way easier for you to remember. And inside this POT, we will create a best case scenario where we plan our moves based on everything happening according to our plan, and a worst case scenario where, based on some event occurring, we identify that the probability, so nothing is certain, the probability of the WCS is higher, behaving upon the rules we created, stating that if X happens, then we do Y. So way before the market even opens, or way before an event comes, which is also inside of a real life, if we decide that we are in a low probability best case scenario, and based on something that we see that indicates that it is low probability, we are going to address our actions. So let's just say, for instance, that I do not want to see the market go into this specific level. But if we see the market go into this specific level, so if the market does this, then I'm going to stay sidelined and I'm not going to do anything. Then we do Y. So if this happens, then I'm going to do this. But this is way before the market does anything. So prior to the event occurring, we already know what we want to do inside of the event. The POT, a trading example. Analyzing the daily chart, I identify the fact that inside of the previous day, the market has closed above an inversion gap, and within my higher time frame bullish bias, which was made prior to the market opening, I want to see it come back to it, use it as a support level, and then continue higher into our other targets. So it means that the market will open, it will go down, and I will not freak out, and I want to see the market go higher afterwards, which that is the best case scenario. However, if the market reaches down into the lower 25% of the daily inversion gap, my scenario is cancelled and I will do nothing, which is worst case scenario. So even if the market goes back into the lower 25% and it goes higher and it goes exactly into the targets that I want to see, I am going to congratulate myself for doing nothing, because this rule set will serve me better than the exceptions. Because what we do is we trade based off rule sets that are more probable to happen than something that would be something that would be categorized as an exception. POT versus ROT example study. Let's assume that the market indeed reached the high of the daily inversion gap, trading lower than the opening price. The reactive oriented person would short it inside of the AM session as we've had a quote unquote huge run. Notice the language. Huge is an adjective. Huge determines the fact that we determine that run as this is so big, I'm going to get into it. And then what the reactive oriented trader does is they short it without any logic, just because the market had gone down into the AM session. The process oriented person is now waiting for the pre-made bullish model in a specific and predetermined time of day, having specific targets, knowing that this run is just for the market to create the low of the day, moving higher after. So the reactive oriented person would short it. And then the process oriented person knows by seeing the same market movement that the market is just going down so it can go up. And all of this, and the difference between this is just a pre-made plan. The reactive oriented person would short or got short, they got excited because the market will move to the downside, of course, for their short-term profitable position. Then what the ROT person does is they got crushed and stopped out, leaving them in a state of regret, then saying that he knew this was about to happen, which is false. Where the reactive oriented person then sees that the market is going to go to the upside, and they're going to say, I knew this was about to happen, but this happened, or the market fooled me, or the market wanted me to be out, or they hunted my stop loss, which is exactly what happens. But they do not know this because they just got in and on the premise that the market was just going to go to the upside, just going to go to the downside. The process-oriented person used the reactive-oriented trader short to get long after a pre-made model and profited, feeling no excitement, just a normal business transaction, which means that we were already anticipating the market to do these things. So therefore, why would I even be excited about this? And do you even want to just be on the charts and feel up and down and up and down and up and down every singular day? No, this is just a normal business transaction. And they both use the same concepts. So we can both use the same concepts, and it can be in a losing position and I can be in a winning position based on the same chart. And this is a crude depiction of everything that I have just explained. So the market was going down, and we can see right here that this is the daily inversion gap. Let's just assume that this is the daily inversion gap. This is a daily inversion gap high. And what we see is that the market went lower. And this is where Trader Dan would got short. So this is where he is short. And he saw this as a market shift, which is in reality just a level of sell side being taken. So the only difference between a market structure shift in this case and this level, knowing that this is just going to be a sell stop rate, the only difference between the two is context prior to the market opening. It is just our bias. Market goes down. Trader Dan is so excited that he profited, but of course it's a medium profit. And then the market goes up. It says, it's just a normal retracement. The market is going to continue to the downside because it's a market structure shift. The market continues lower. Yeah, I'm going to make profits. And then boom, he gets absolutely crushed. Whereas the process-oriented trader, he understands that the market has the highest degree of probability to be sent higher after this run is created. For the low of the day to be created, the market goes back into some form of a fair value gap or an order block then the market creates the real plus market structure shift, which stands for bullish, and then greater than is used as liquidity for the POT trader entry inside of a specific time period in which we pre-decided that we are only going to trade inside of this specific time period. And then the retail traders are also out, and we're not even going to talk about these people because they are just, again, reactive traders. But basically, these are their stop losses. This is where we entry. We use greater than as our profit. Where greater than is losing, that's where we are profiting. And where greater than is, or where retail traders are losing, again, that is where our exit stands. And this is actually a real trading example where this 9:30 opening occurs. This was a level in which we were already pre-decided, or we pre-anticipated the fact that the market was going to go to the upside from. The market saw this sell stop rate, so this would not be considered a market structure shift. This is a sell stop rate. We saw the market creating swing low, meaning that we already pre-decided that this is going to be a run to the upside. This is where trader Dan would have shorted it. This is where we can take a profit if we entered based on this inversion gap after the market closed above it, revisited it, instead of the consequent encroachment of the wick. Market goes up, and then we hunt these retail traders as well. So this is the absolute same thing as in the crude depiction. And the only difference between people that shorted here and we longed here is the bias in the predetermined conditions, stating that if we see the market going below a level of sell stops, we will not label this as a means of a market structure shift because our pre-made analysis states that we want to see the market go up. So this is not a market structure shift. This is a sell stop rate for us to go above a level of buy stops. Do you notice how this already changes 95% of your trading? Do you notice that I never talked about any chart or concept yet, besides showing you examples of the things that I've talked about? I have only talked about the process-oriented thinking and the smart money paradigm. And I've just introduced them. But this in itself already changes 95% of your trading. And I never talked in depth about any concept or any chart ever, just about the way you operate. Do you notice that? This is why psychology is 95% and even higher in trading and in everything in life, if we're going to talk about life in general. Now, the process-oriented thinking requirements. And this is a must. The first point is a must, and it is journaling, which is either physical or digital. It does not matter how we do it. You just have to track. You just have to have a medium in which you track everything. And this means that you're going to track your personal life and understanding your emotions. You are going to track your trades, and you're going to do back testing to understand your model. What you're also going to do is you're going to review all of your notes, and you're going to solve all of your existing and incoming problems. And then you're going to consolidate your knowledge. Because if you only listen to your journal, then you create your own mindset. Social media doesn't do it. Other people inside of your life they should not have any degree of influence over your own actions. This is how you keep your mindset, and this is how you get to know yourself. And then the second thing that you need is time, which is deeply focused and undisturbed and consistent. And this is how we do it. What you're going to do is you're going to schedule your daily activities to not worry about trading when you're doing something else, and to not worry about something else when you're focusing on trading. And this might sound like, of course, yeah, this is what I do. Incorrect. Incorrect, because this is the same thing that I've thought. This is the same thing that everyone thought. When you're going to schedule let's just say a max of 90 minutes per session, you're just going to defocus and cancel out everything. Not work, not gym, nothing. You're only going to think about the task at hand. You're going to use a max of 90 minutes per session where you either, and again, you're going to start at 15 minutes because you do not even understand. The worst thing about this is you do not know what you do not know. When you are in an unfocused state of mind, you do not know that you are in an unfocused state of mind. So therefore, what I want you to do is I want you to start at 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes, in which you're going to backtest, study, analyze, which is planning, and trade, either the AM or the PM. The process-oriented thinking perspectives. The complete formula. POT perspectives. The first one we have is undisturbed study, in which you will study the StoianCapital mentorship, and then you're going to study the charts, which is backtesting. What this is a time in which you dedicate towards studying and receiving information and receiving new information. And with that information, you sit and renew your trading. So this is not something that you already know. This is something that you are now gaining more information. And the reason why this is so critical, this is so important, is because you cannot receive new information when you try to apply your work. But I'm going to talk about this in depth after this slide. The next thing that we have is undisturbed planning, which is analyzing the weekly chart prior to opening, exactly like I stated, with having the best case and the worst case scenario. You're also going to analyze the daily chart. And then we have the undisturbed work, which is applying your analysis and model and actually trading the model based on the analysis. So if you state that the market is going to go to the upside prior to the market opening on a weekly basis, then you go into the daily chart and then you just apply what you already know. You do not try to implement something that you did not study for at least 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, a long time period, because you are not sure how it works and you do not want to try to test something with real money, which I never endorse you to do, ever. It is your own decision. And then we have undisturbed reflection, which is 100% honest reflection, comparing what you planned to do and what you did. So you're going to take out what you plan to do, you're going to take out your weekly analysis, and then what you're going to do is you're going to compare it towards or with what you did throughout the week, what you planned and what you did. And then based on contrast, you're going to understand the lessons that you have to understand. As you might have noticed, they are all based on each other. In order to be able to trade correctly, you need to plan first. But in order to plan correctly, you need to understand the concepts correctly, which relies on the most attentive study. And in order to know what to study most, you need to reflect and understand your weaknesses. So they are all based on each other. And these are the don'ts. Do not try, and again, exactly what I've said. Do not try and apply new knowledge right away, because it requires solid studying and backtesting and consolidating said information first. This is the most important one. Do not journal anything negative. The most important one, as you will be extremely fearful of taking a trade. So do not journal. Never journal anything negative. And do not lie or sugarcoat anything neither, which is you stating everything from a non-biased and growth-oriented perspective. And I will go in depth about this in the next lectures. But basically, we have an event happening, right? There's something happening inside of our life or inside of our trading. We are going to take said event without having any perspective first. We're going to state that this happened. But from a growth-oriented perspective, I understand rationally that I've made a mistake. I've made the mistake, so therefore I'm going to correct it by this. I'm never going to state that, oh, I did so bad. Don't do that, because you're not going to want to go back to your journals in the first place, which are the main pillar of your trading and your trading knowledge. And do not skip neither of these, because the whole process, and I'm telling you, the whole process will fall apart. And then we have a schedule example, and this is based on something general, right? Based on something general. I do not have the schedule, but I have something similar to it. But I've included also work, or if you have a business, I also included that because this is something general and most people go to work. So let's just assume that this trader trades the PM session of the Nasdaq, and we assume that this is during London time. So the normal standard time, London time. So this is a trading weekday. This individual wakes up at 5 a.m. and then what he does, he immediately, no brushing teeth, no nothing. He immediately, of course, you can take time to make a coffee or whatever you want, of course. We will have a 45-minute cycle in which we fully focus on analyzing the daily chart of the Nasdaq. Just that, no coffee, no work, no messages, no nothing. You just do your work, and then you're going to have a break in which you can do whatever you want. But basically, this trader does get ready for work because he has to go to work. And then what he's going to do is, again, basic. He's going to have a breakfast in which, again, you can apply this information towards your life. And I advise you to apply this information towards your life because this helps you in everything. And he's going to eat a specific meal, assuming that the POT trader also goes to the gym, which is an important factor too. So everything is just building upon you as a person. So when we're talking about trading, when we talk about the gym, these are all upgrades towards your own character. If we were to play a game, this is just an upgrade. And this is how you need to operate within your life. And you can already see how your life changes. You can already see how your life changes and not just your trading. But your life has to change in itself for your trading to change, because your life is the most important thing. Trading is just an addition, right? And then what he's going to do is he is going to work from 8 to 4, a normal job, which is completely fine. Completely fine when you're not a full-time trader yet. I'm going to state that I'm not a full-time trader yet. I neither work. I have businesses that I build around trading, which might be even the StoianCapital mentorship, and I'm not afraid to say this, but it is an income stream that I have to have focus on. So this also takes away my focus from trading, even if it's about the trading in itself. So I too work, and there's no shame in working as long as you do all of the things that I'm telling you. So work from 8 to 4, and then he is going to go straight to the gym, and then he's going to have his meal too. And then what he will do is he will fully focus on the PM session from 6:30 to 9. No friends, no messages, no phone, no nothing. Fully PM session trading. And then after that, he can have a break in which he is allowed to do whatever he wants. Like whatever you want, you can watch Netflix, you can do what you want. But in this state, I want after the PM session, right away, what you're going to do is you're going to do a trading and daily reflection. And then until you go to sleep, you can do whatever you want. You can watch Netflix. You can do everything, because what you did is you focused on your work and you finished. You are done. And let me tell you one thing. If you refuse to take a break, if you refuse to do this, that is bad, because that is just impatience. If you just work for the sake of working, or for the sake of saying that, oh, I work the hardest, that is just impatience. And that is weakness. That is not strength. If you have these things, like if you do these things once, they're not going to work. You have to do these things, and they're hard, but you have to do these things for a long time period. That is a factor too. So in order to do all of these things for a long time period, you also have to fully focus on the quality of the activity in itself, right? So you have to fully focus on it. So it is not only about the things that you do, but rather how qualitative they are. And you have to do this for a long time period. The next thing we're going to look at is the weekend, in which this specific individual wakes up at 5, so the same schedule, and this is a Saturday. And what he does is he goes into a 45-minute cycle in which he is doing a weekly reflection. So everything that he wrote down inside of the journal, every screenshot that he has made throughout the week is done now. The week is finished. You cannot work anymore. You did all of your work at your best. So what you have to do right now is you have to look back and you have to analyze each individual daily note, because otherwise you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. So what you're going to do is you're going to stay and look back. No work involved, not progress. Finished. The week is finished. What did I do? And this you're going to do is what this trader is going to do is he's going to have a 45-minute cycle, and then he's going to have a break. And in this break, what I want this trader to do is I want him to just do whatever he wants, unfocused, like relaxed, but I still want him to not go into social media or change his focus into something, because otherwise this would just be for nothing. So inside of this schedule, what I also want to highlight is that this is also like a quote-unquote social media detox. I know that you know the term. What this means is that you will just filter out all of the things that are not trading related or that are not growth oriented. So no scrolling on TikTok, no Instagram consuming. Like, these things are not growing you as a man, as a trader, as whatever you want. These things are not growth oriented. So all of these things, I just assume that you do not even do them anymore, because trading is a lifestyle. Trading is not something that you just do once. It is a lifestyle. So it is not life then trading. It is trading then life, right? And I do not say that, oh, you're going to ignore your wife or you're going to ignore your girlfriend. No, but by doing these cycles, you know that the work is done. And then just the only thing that has to be done is just time moving in your favor. You do your 45 minutes and then you break. You relax. You do whatever you want. And then back on 45-minute cycle, weekly reflection. And again, you do the same thing and then you relax. And you have your breakfast and you are going to be relaxed because you know that you did the most important thing and then you're done. You're finished. And that is a beautiful state of being. Of course, you might not be where you want to be right now, and breaks might be even harder for you at the moment. But I want you to understand the time element in this. So it is not only about you doing these things, it is also time that has to be spent. And when I say time, I want you to understand this very, very important thing. I have promised to you, if you're in this mentorship, I have promised to you that I guaranteed that you are going to be an independent trader and you're never going to have to look at any other video anymore. But this is how you do it. And it's going to take a long time. It's going to take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. But you already know what you have to do. I never promised you that it's going to be easy. I said that it's going to be simple, and this is very simple. You just do a task and then focus off, not scrolling on TikTok. This means that just relaxing because you are a professional, right? And then you're going to have a time with family, which is very important, because otherwise, if you are with your family and you think about your trading, then that is going to affect your relationships. And if you are trading and you're thinking about your family, that is too going to affect your trading. So in order for you to fully focus on your trading and in order for you to fully focus on your family time, you have to do them like this. And you have to be content with enough. And then you're going to have if you want to, after you're done with your family, if the kids are asleep, or I'm 20, I do not know how this goes yet. But if you have some time or you have to make some time, you're going to have a 45 to 60 minute cycle in which you study the StoianCapital mentorship. And then you're going to sleep at the same scheduled time. And of course, I did not put the breakfast and everything. You're just going to assume that it is in there, right? But you have to journal it and schedule it. And then a Sunday day, and I'm not going to go in depth. I'm a Christian. I believe in the Sabbath. I believe in a day of rest, but you can do this and then focus on God. I'm not going to go in depth about that. You can do your prayer. You can also schedule your prayers. It's fine. This is how I do it. 5 a.m. wake up, 45-minute cycle in which you analyze the weekly chart. A break, a 45-minute cycle in which you study the StoianCapital mentorship. And then you're going to have breakfast, and again, same thing. And then time with family, or praying to God, or doing whatever you want. Whatever you want. Whatever you want. You can name it. Not scrolling and not consuming anything. Whatever you want. You can, I don't know, go outside. I mean, you can do anything you want because you've done the work. And I'm stating this because this is very important. Because otherwise you're just going to feel like, oh, I have to do. No. That's impatience. You are not patient to let time do the hard work for you. And it feels hard for you to do this. But this is the hard in trading. This is the hard. You cannot cheat this. And then you're going to have a 45 to 60 minute cycle in which you're going to backtest the PM session. And then sleep. So this is just an example. This is not how your schedule should look like. But in order for you to be a professional at everything that you do, you have to do this. Because otherwise, what will happen is you will wake up at a random time, and then your body and your emotions will decide that, oh, I don't want to do my studying. I want to go scroll on TikTok. And if you go into or through your life as an emotional being, of course, you are going to choose the easy route. And this is not something that is for you to blame yourself, because this is how your body is created. You have to first force yourself to choose the option that is not rewarding right now. So you choosing StoianCapital mentorship studying cycle and not choosing to scroll on TikTok, which is easy dopamine, is very hard to do. But if you have this and you understand that this on a long time period is going to make you not even want to look at TikTok, because you are going to have a life so amazing that you do not even want to consume other people's lives, but rather you are going to produce. You're going to have your own source of dopamine to work if you just focus on doing these things and being a proactive man. Then this is going to transform your life forever. POT scheduling, important factors. I want you to have the same structure in the weekend and also in the weekdays. And I understand the fact that there are going to be some time in which you cannot do your trading cycles, and that is fine because life happens sometimes. Life happens. You're just stuck in something and you cannot do it. It's fine. It is fine. Do not beat yourself up for it. This is life. I want you to have one or two things that you do for trading in a day, and if you do them, that's fine. Prioritize 100% break time periods, as these allow you to be 100% on your tasks. So if you fully break 100%, then you can be 100% on your tasks, knowing that you allowed yourself to fully break, you allowed yourself to do whatever you want, and then you have to fully focus on the task at hand. And then you're going to be fully focused on a task, then fully defocused on a break time period. And then fully focused on spending quality time with your family and not thinking about trading. And you will enter the vicious cycle of quote unquote regret. And I've did this so many times, and even in the recent past, because I also again run businesses, and I was thinking about business when I was with my girlfriend, my current girlfriend, because nobody knows what tomorrow will bring, and again, this is you analyzing, like again in life, for example, I'm going to have a best case scenario that if my girlfriend and me are going to be, and we're going to get married, then we're going to, let me just give you an example. Like if me and my girlfriend are going to get married, then I will do the same things. I will still be a trader. I will still build my empire, right? If this does not work out, I still know that I am the best man and I'm doing all of these things and I'm running my empire and I'm doing this on a process-oriented thinking mindset. So it will not affect me as much because I know that I can always get a girlfriend, but I run my life like this. And I wanted to state this, that you cannot think about trading because you've done some, you're not going to be able to think about trading because you've done something within an only family time period. So in otherwise, you cannot think about trading when you are supposed to think about trading because you've done something and you regret it. And now what you're doing is, in a fully focused trading cycle, you're going to think about your family. And that's normal because you've done something wrong because you were thinking about trading in a time which had to be dedicated towards your family. And then you cannot spend time with family because you didn't perform in your trading. So it is a vicious cycle. So you're in the trading, you're in the trading in the AM session or the PM session, but you're thinking about your family. And then what that will do is you're going to perform poorly because you did not fully focus. And then that poor performance is going to affect your only family time period. It's a vicious cycle. Just do these things. Do these things. I promise that you're going to be so fulfilled, you do not even think about money anymore. And how to make this work for you. Understand that this, done once, does nothing for you. You have to do this for 1 year, 2 years, 3 or 4. I don't care. If you cannot do this for 4 years without seeing the results on a short time period, then you're not made for this. And you do not have to be ready to do this right now. You can train it. And you have to train it, and it hurts. Of course it hurts. You're building an empire, G. It is doing this for an extended time period, which is based on years. And understand that it's about compounding, not to have everyday big wins, which is little by little by little by little. It is not, oh, today was so good, oh, today is very bad. Like, not full spikes. Imagine the market explosive moves to the upside and to the downside. No. 1%, 1%, 1%, and then you're going to be 2%, and then 2%, and then you're going to eventually, it is about, let me just give you a gym example, because prior to trading, I was a very, and I'm still going to the gym, but I was a very gym-oriented person. I'm going to the gym. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first go bench press 40 kilograms. And then once that gets easy, then I'm going to go to 50. And then I'm going to eventually, after a long time period, get to 140 kilograms. But the point is not 140 kilograms to feel heavy. It's for them to feel light. It's for me to train myself with the thing in mind that this has to feel not easy, but I have to train my ability for the 140 kilo to feel light. In other words, I have to get stronger, which is exactly what you do with this process. So this is why this is hard, because this takes so much time. And it is not only about the time, it is about the quality of the time. Understand that you cannot rush the process. Otherwise, you'll spend more time on it. So if you rush the process, then you're going to eventually get into a level, but you will then make so many mistakes that you have to go back and fix what you did wrong. So why not just do it correctly from the first place? Like, you are here, and let me just give you an example. Inside of a 90-minute time period, and this is an extreme example, right? Instead of thinking about 14 questions that I have and trying to solve them all at once, I'm going to write down one question or one concept, and I'm just going to study that one concept for the entirety of the 90 minutes. I'm just going to focus on one singular question instead of 14. But I know that once that is solved, then I can go to the next. And this does not only solve my problem, but this also trains my ability to focus, which is a compounding element. Like if I solve this problem in 30 minutes, next time I'm going to be able to solve it in 29.6 minutes, and then 28 and 27. And once I get so good at this, I'm going to be able to solve the 14 problems in themselves. But you just have to start, and you have to be humble. You do not have to tell me, Stoyan, I'm only able to do this. Just know, okay, I'm only able to do 15 minutes of fully focused work. Good. Start there. And then add, okay, this 15 minutes feels so easy. Let's add 5 minutes more. Oh, this feels very hard. Oh, I'm going to downgrade. 20 minutes only. And so on and so forth. And why do I know this works? Because I've did this for myself in the exact manner I have told you. And it's only when you understand that this is the only way of doing this that will bring you results. This is the only way of doing this. There's no other way. There's no other bullshit. Do not look at any other people that say that, oh, it's this. No, it's just hard work. Literally, listen to this and tell me if this is wrong. It is only hard work plus time. Hard work, quality work plus time. Is there something that is wrong inside of this simple yet hard equation? No. This is the truth. And this is how you approach everything in life. And you will find out that you can do so little. You can only focus on one thing at once. So therefore, you cannot care about the bullshit on social media. You cannot care about these people outside of you saying, oh, you're so bad. You just cannot focus on this because you have this to focus on. Fully focused, aggressively investing your minutes rationally. And I have documented this whole process of me doing it here on X. So if you want to go and follow my X real quick, because this is where I document how I trade the NASDAQ since January 23. And again, I plan on doing it for as many years as possible until I cannot mention the years anymore. This is where you see it. And I currently have 296 followers. This is November 2024. When I'm going to have millions of followers, this is going to be such a reflective moment and such a beautiful moment because I believe in myself that I can do it. And this is the state of mind that you also have to adopt. And not only that I believe myself, I know. Because everything that I've talked about in this lecture that I'm going to get there. Because what happens is I know that I'm going to do these things. I just do them. That is the goal. I just do these things for an extended time period. What happens when I do the same things over and over again over 10 years? What can happen? Right? And this is a series of tweets that I'm going to, or X posts that I'm going to read to you right now. Hard work over a long time period without seeing immediate results is a solution to mastering everything. October 30, which is of course a close date, but I've always had this mindset. Everything else is just advertising shit. Do what you're supposed to do and stop bitching. Less is actually or always more in trading. Less frequency, better quality. And I have battled so hard with this statement in Q3 23 and 24, but it's purely the truth. Less to do, more to don't. And this is a post from April 11, which states exactly what I've said in this lecture, which is paradox of speed, that there is no shortcut and the work just needs doing. Therefore, approach it slowly. That way, you avoid the dumb reoccurring mistakes that happen because you rush, and in that way, you actually shortcut the process, never doing the same mistakes by anticipating them. So never rush, because rushing makes you do the same mistakes without you realizing. 3 more tweets from April. Whether you accept it or not, life is a constant reinforcement of what you're doing. You are on a schedule, aware or unaware. Therefore, why not take control of it? Slow, concentrated, realistic, and filter out the world and focus on you, which is exactly a proof of everything that I've said inside of this mentorship. And week 1 of April taught me that the friction is just at the beginning. That's where I struggled most. And after everything is planned out, then time becomes your friend. And compounding takes over positively and rewards awareness over ignorance. Exactly what I've said in this lecture. Everything is planned out. I just have to do them over a long time period. Compounding makes everything. And then the last one is from March 29, which is after Q1 is almost done. Biggest lesson in my life was data and systems. I've diligently built systems around everything: trading, behavior, business, and I'm constantly analyzing data to attack the weak points, all while compounding the effort on a weekly basis, which is exactly what I've talked about in this mentorship lesson. Exactly, to the point. Even the mentorship inside of StoianCapital is to the point. Plus, more to come. This was the lesson, guys. I hope you took a great deal of value from this. And I hope you genuinely implement all of these things. And I hope you see the wisdom in this. What I'm going to say right now in this final minutes of this, if you pay attention to it for 5 more minutes, I believe, I'm going to say that for my Q3 of 24 period, I have struggled as well. So I'm human as you. I have struggled with implementing this inside of my business. So this StoianCapital mentorship requires work for me to do these videos, for me to document the whole process, and it takes away my attention. It takes away my focus from trading in itself. But this, I have ignored this lesson, and it cost me a lot of time and a lot of emotions and a lot of pain. So genuinely implement this, because this is the right way of doing this. And in the next video, in the next mentorship video, we're going to talk about the journaling and how to do it properly. But until then, see you. Peace.